Hello, everyone. Today I have a special guest, and they are anonymous. And it seems to be this year, I don't know what it is, but all the Divine Feminines are just saying, you know what? We want to say our story, we want to let it out because I'm inundated. So, welcome. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing well. I'm okay. This week has been rough, but it's good. It's all good anyway.
Yeah, what is it about this week? It's a Scorpio moon, right? So, I've had some things going
Yes.
on with work that's really triggered me. Normally, it does not. But what's happened to you this week?
It's definitely the full moon. Yeah, so mine too, just work-wise, I'm realizing what's working when what's not, the patterns that I've kind of been just inundated with. I think we all, once you get into this journey, you understand the the things that you used to do before don't really work anymore. So that's what I'm kind of grasping at this very moment. Like now.
Are you
Um,
like at a place where you're thinking, I need to get out of this job and work in more 5D stuff? Like,
yeah. So, but here's the thing. So, I made my twin flame in 2021, and I quit my job in 2020 to January of 2023. Sorry, not 2022, January of 2023. Which was about like I want to say a year, 2 months later. Um, so I am a chartered accountant, and so I did audit work. So I'm in the finance space, and I transitioned into trading, but that hasn't been working out. So before I quit my job, it was working out and it was perfect, and I was making a lot of money. But then once I think I got triggered into this twin flame journey, the fear of this whole journey kind of transcended into my work. And so now I'm realizing that all my money blocks have just really been fear based because it wasn't so difficult for me to make money. Like, I'm an accountant, I can run numbers up all day. Um, but now I need to kind of figure out why I'm not making money. Yeah.
it's kind of interesting, isn't it? It's like for
Yeah.
me, it's like almost pushing me to like, oh my God, this is not fulfilling me no more.
Yeah.
And I need to do stuff that is soul led. And I think the DMs go through that too. So let's backtrack.
Yes.
So let's do a little, if you want to give a little overview of whatever you feel comfortable with, your background, where you're at. You can say part of the world if you want, just so we
Yeah.
understand who you were before you had your awakening. Where did you start from so we can know where you're at?
Yeah, sure. I'm from South Africa. Little tiny country down south. I was always a numbers girl, so I always loved accounting, and that was pretty much the road, right? As you start high school, go to university, did my 4 turned into 5 years at university, and then I worked, did my articles, and qualified as a chartered accountant. And then I realized, okay, I'm not happy. I remember my first day at my job, I was like, oh, this is not what I'm supposed to do. But I then didn't know what else I need to do. My soul, I didn't realize what
So
is
you
to
were very
come.
logical going into that field.
Yes.
Were you
Yes.
at all religious or spiritual or anything like that?
Yes. So I'm from a Christian led family. So we always went to church. Not every Sunday, not, I wouldn't say that, but we, followed the Bible and we listened to gospel music, all that. Yeah.
And your family situation, you grew up in a loving environment, or there was issues that, a lot of people go through, was there
Yes.
I'm currently writing a blog on daddy issues, for example, and then I want to do one on mother issues, mother wounds, father wounds. Like,
Mm,
were there any of those core wounds going on as well?
yes, most definitely. I had tremendous father wounds, tremendous, which I only now, not now, but I mean, since the twin flame journey started, you know how that process of initiation kind of comes with figuring out all your wounds. So, um, yeah, my relationship with my father is very complicated. You know, he came from that world, that 60s baby boomer world of discipline means hitting your child and being abusive and all that. So that's what I also felt. Well, I not felt, that's what I dealt with pretty much my whole childhood. So I lived in constant fear about him, um, which was very interesting. And so even that, I think, I knew it affected my relationships with men. So I never really had a relationship in going from my teens into my 20s. Like literally, I'm 32 years of age and I have not gone into a serious relationship with a man before or a partner, or anyone, you know. So that has always been there. And, slowly I have been able, since the twin flame journey started, I was able to tell him how his disciplining and his way of disciplining me affected me, which was great. I think that gave me so much resolution. And the fact that I'm actually even able to talk to you about it without crying, because it
Did he
was,
accept it?
he was quiet. He's very quiet. Um, he never apologized. I think he still thinks he was right in what he did. But, I can't change that. That's how he feels and what he believes, as long as I think, because he's also he's 65, and he's very sickly as well. So there is a chance that he might leave us soon. So I'm glad that I have been able to get that over my chest type thing.
Wonderful. It takes a lot of courage to face the core wounds, with the people who've done them. So great. Well done.
Mhm.
Now let's move on to the journey. So basically, how did you meet this person? How did you realize that you were on this journey?
Yeah, sure. So, like I said, I went to university and we met like the first week of university, really, which was 2020, not 2020, 2011. So it's 14 years ago. Didn't know them were twin flames, obviously. And we were part of like a bigger friend group. So it was about, I want to say 12 to 16 of us. And it was about 8 boys to 8 girls. He was part of my brother race because I lived on campus. I didn't live at home. And cut to fast forward 10 years later, we decided to do like a reunion of all of us because we had separated. I was still friends with all my girlfriends. But the boys, I hadn't really seen them in a while. So we all were like, okay, let's meet up. I actually initiated. It was so crazy how it happened. Because when I think about it, I'm like, oh, I actually initiated the whole meeting. Because we were on Twitter talking about a specific place in South Africa that we wanted to go because we had been there in 2011. So we wanted to go back. And then we couldn't because of time restrictions. So then we were like, okay, let's just have lunch.
And 10
And
years ago, when you met this person, you
yes,
didn't feel anything. You weren't activated.
no, not at all. Not at all. I remember there was a point where my other friend, my girlfriend, had a crush on him. I was like, what? Like, I couldn't believe it wasn't comprehended. Like, I was just like, okay, but if you see something, girl, go for it. But I was just not there. There was no one in that friend group, particularly that I kind of liked or had interest in. He's short. He's shorter than me, and I'm a tall girl. I'm like 1.72. Yeah. So that's tall for us around here. It's tall girl.
And for a
So
woman, it's quite tall, that is, yeah.
okay, cool. Um, yeah, so I never really had a desire for him or liked him like that. So had to then, yeah, 10 years later, this is November 2021. And we'll all meet up. We're all now, because we met when we were 18, we're all now 28, 29. And life's progressing and everyone's just talking about how they're getting married soon, or they think they've met their partners and they're having babies and all that. Now is single as hell. And I remember just thinking, and he also went on the table and he was like, yeah, I'm about to propose in 6 months if all goes well. And I didn't even care, because I was just like, okay, I wish I could get that soon, from that perspective, not really thinking he's my twin flame. Okay, cut to the rest of the day. Then we go into the night. I was sleeping over at a friend's. Then that friend, come to find out, she lives 5 minutes away from my twin flame. So then we didn't know that. So I was sleeping over, and then my twin flame and his friend came over for like an after party chillers kind of thing. After lunch, not an after party. And then we're chilling. It's nighttime. It's literally about like, I want to say 9, 10 p.m. And I remember just feeling like something. I was like, oh. It's like a hard force, chills. And I'm like, I was drunk as well. So I was like, okay, girl, you're drunk. It's fine. Just move around, move around. There's nothing happening here, because he has a girlfriend. So there's no way.
So you were
Um,
feeling what, like a heart pull, or you were feeling like the sexual energy, or what?
it wasn't sexual. It was definitely a heart pull, like a heartstring. And it was gravitating towards him. There were two, so it was him and his friend. His friend is gay, so I knew it wasn't for him. So it was for my twin flame. But I was also telling myself I was drunk, so there's absolutely no way. So I remember just kind of kept moving around the house. But when you're drunk, you're also very one track minded, so you forget what you're supposed to be doing. So we end up sitting on the couch together. It's three of us. I'm in the middle. One friend is on my side, on the right side, and then my twin flame's on the left. And then he's like, "No, don't sleep. We're about to sleep. Everyone's dozing off." And then my twin flame was like, "No, don't sleep yet. I still want to talk." So I was like, "Okay, let's go outside." Then we go outside, and I remember seeing the stars. And then he comes up and he kisses me. I'm like, ah. And before I could catch it, like I was already gone. Like I was like, oh shoot. I felt, everything that people describe, um, and just the chills, and my blood was rushing. And I'm telling myself, this person has a girlfriend. What am I doing? Why? Like just the back and forth. And then eventually we
And
stopped.
was this, sorry to ask a kind of a question,
Yeah.
was this the first time you ever kissed someone, or was this you kissed guys before?
Yes, so I've definitely dealt with people before. I don't want to say it because I said I wasn't in a relationship. I've definitely dealt with guys before, but I just had never been in a committed
And how
relationship.
was this different than the kiss?
So it just like something connects. You know how people say like something connects, and there was a blood rush for me. Like I just felt like goosebumps and blood rushing all over. And then it was just going up into my head, and I was like, like it felt good, but then it felt terrible at the same time because I'm thinking of the situation that we're in. No, but this feels so good. I don't want to stop. But then, yeah, it was a mess. It was a mess. So, um, yeah, cut to the rest of the night. I don't want to spend too much time because I could go on. I'm very long-winded. Um, but
Interesting. The last couple of DFs interviewed have been quite, they love to talk, but go on, carry on.
yeah. Um, so we slept over, right? The next day, I'm trying to act like nothing happened, because I'm like, okay, people are awake and no one saw us. Everyone was passed out. No one saw
We're
us.
drunk, it was just a mistake.
Exactly. That's literally what I'm thinking. I was like, new day. He has a girlfriend. Yeah, whatever. So I'm going on and I could see him staring. There's times where he stares at me, but he doesn't say anything. So I'm like, okay, we're chilling, we're like talking. Everybody's acting like nothing. My mind, I'm going crazy. I'm literally going insane. And then there's a point where I go to the bathroom and then he follows me into the bathroom. And then he kisses me again. Yeah. Um, but when he followed me into the bathroom, my one friend, my girlfriend, whose place we were at, she saw us. So then she ran out apparently and told everyone that we were doing this. But I only found out a couple of months later. Anyway, so cut to then, yeah, the rest of the day kind of winded down, and I didn't know that they all knew. So I was like very much hesitant because, like I said, he had a girlfriend, and I didn't want to make it bigger than what it was.
Drama.
Yeah. So we move on, and then I'm realizing, okay, this is a lot, like, the energy is kind of progressing and it's intensifying as the days go by. We're talking on the phone and he's not saying anything. I thought it would have been like a done deal of like, okay, I'm gonna break up with my girlfriend and come to you. No, that's exactly
Mm.
what didn't happen, kind of thing. And I never wanted to even lead with that as well, because I feel like I figured it out quite early on that he was the one, like I remember
Yeah, so
because I,
talk about the signs and the
yeah,
confirmations that told you he was the one, or the twin flame label when that came through.
yes, yes. I'd say the twin flame one later came through, but the first one, I remember the first sign was when it was like mid-December. And I was sitting around. So this is about 2 weeks later. We had agreed to not do anything. So I was like, okay, you go on about your business and then I'll, live my life. We don't
Mhm.
need to do anything. And then there was, but obviously,
He had the power at that time because he's got someone, right? And he's the
yes.
man. So like it's up to him to kind of like make the moves in a sense. Like you could be the crazy woman that chases him, but literally you want to keep some respect.
Exactly. That is what was like, I don't know, maybe because of my non-committal issues, I just had never found myself in a situation where I had to chase a guy before, so I was like, this is not
Mhm.
going to start now, for me. It was just never going to start. Yeah, as much as I like you and I'm obsessed with you, I'm still not going to chase you. Basically. So yeah, so the ball was in his court and he decided not to do anything. So I was like, okay, let's move on. But you can't really move on. So 2 weeks into it, your mind is rambling and you're trying to figure it out, right? Because you're obsessive and you're thinking like you're crazy. And there was a
And had
point
that
where
happened to you with anyone else before?
no, uh, no, no, not to this extent. Definitely not. Um, yeah. So we were on Twitter together, like I said, because we met in 2021 that way. So I was searching our interactions on Twitter, and you won't believe it. So there was one tweet that I sent out where I was like, oh, I just finished designing my wedding dress. Easy part. Finding a husband might be the hard part. And then he responded with, hey, boo, and an engagement ring emoji and like with his hand up emoji. And I was like, what? That's when I knew. For me, that was the sign. And that had happened. So this is 2021. That happened in 2016. So it was like 6 years ago.
I always feel like the DMs know before we do, and then when we figure it out, they run.
Exactly. Because I was like, because obviously when he tweeted it, it was a joke. We both took it as a joke and we laughed about it. It wasn't anything. But for me to fast forward after and realize it, I was like, oh, this is actually the one. So that was the first sign. But then the spiritual part really took time for me. So I kept searching because I would search on Google past life soulmates or so like just different variations of the same thing, basically just trying to pick up something. And the twin flame definition would come up a lot. And that's when I kind of transferred it onto YouTube and I would search for videos there. Yeah. So the signs, again, it's the dreams. It, yeah, I think that was my number one thing. After I realized the twin flame stuff, that's when I started having the dreams. And it was a lot. Like I would get like about 2 to 3 dreams a week in the first, let's
Mhm.
say, six
You used to
months, which
write them
was
down. You used to write
I
them down.
did. I
Me too.
did.
Mm.
I did. I have like my notes scrolls up. So like I'm just like, oh my God. It's a whole thesis. But I did write them down. I don't write them down anymore. Um
You know what I found recently? Like the big dreams, I've always written them down. And then the last few days, like I've been getting dreams, but it's like he's there in and out, but it's not so, it's become normal that when I wake up, there's a lingering there, but it's not so like, this is what happened in the dream. It's just there. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like
yes.
they're always there in the dream world, but we just don't always realize.
I think so too. Like I think it's a state of being now. Whereas in the beginning, he was kind of like bombarding me with messaging and like, oh, I love you, I love you, I love you, or whatever. I need to figure it out. And for now, for me, I actually had a dream about him this morning, and he was just there, like you're saying, he's just there
Yeah.
chilling. Yeah, it's nothing like because I think we all know what it is now. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing more to say from my side. Maybe there are other twin flames. Obviously, they're just starting with a journey, but almost 4 years. I'm 3.5 years into it. You
You've
know,
been, yeah.
yeah, yeah. There's nothing more to say really, other than being like obviously the future challenges and whatever may come through it. That
So
is
in the
obviously.
dreams, he's telling you he loves you and he wants to be with you, whatever, whatever. But in the real life, he's not.
Yeah, so mine completely ghosted me, hey. Um, in the beginning, like I said, we said we were gonna separate, right? So we weren't gonna date. Um, but I couldn't move on. So I would say, let's try to meet up so that we can just talk, have closure. Maybe that will help me, kind of thing. Because I was just trying to find solutions so that the pain would go away. And no one else obviously understands. So then you're like, okay, let me just go to the one person that I feel like will understand. And he was like running, like, ooh, he didn't want to meet up. I'm like, I don't even want to be a girl. I'm just saying I want to talk. And he's like, no, that's not gonna happen. There's nothing to talk about. I'm like, what?
All his core wounds are activated by the looks of things. But did you get any synchronicities, any numbers, any other things? So apart from the dreams, did you get the telepathy? Like what other stuff happened?
Yes. Okay. So there's two that kind of pop up into my mind. One, he has a very noticeable name, it's an African name, but yeah, it's a very common name, not
Common.
noticeable. Common, yes. Um, and so, yeah, like I knew that I would see that name quite often, but obviously, like once this started, it was tenfold. It was insane to the point where, like, I felt like someone had like
Okay.
released a farm of those types of people, and they just released it to me, and they were like, there was a show, Manny, where I was like watching a show, random show on TV, and this couple was having a baby and they were wondering what name. And I was like, look, they're about to name him this name.
Same name. And did he ever fess up or tell you that he was getting those signs or no? He's never said that.
No, 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 no. He's never said that. He did say so in when we were trying to meet up, because in the beginning, as I was saying, we were trying to meet up, and then eventually he said no, but he said it because there were feelings involved and he just didn't want to murk the word waters. That was about it.
So he
Yeah.
confirmed there was feelings. So
Yes.
you said there was two signs. What was the other one?
Um Oh, okay. So I'm very musical, like I like music. And there was a song by Mariah Carey called Never Forget You that would play quite a lot. And then on the radio one day, it played, right? I was in the car with my mom and my dad, and I was like, oh, okay, that's a sign, whatever. Then it played again, like back to back. And I was like, okay, this is weird because radio doesn't play the same song twice. And then,
It reminds me of like Have you seen the movie Groundhog Day?
yes, yes,
It's like the
exactly.
same thing happening. Oh, it's
Over
trippy.
and over. Exactly. And you're like, wait, am I like Twilight Zone type thing? Like you're just like, I'm tripping. Um, so then after that, the radio personality said, I think there's witchcraft happening in the studio because like we're trying to figure it out, and I was like, oh my god, this is
The
insane.
same song keep playing. We can't move it on.
Yes, exactly. That the same song played
Oh my
twice,
God.
and yeah,
I
and
went
I
on a
was
date once with someone, and my twin flame loves Beyonce, and we sat in the radio, and the radio station played 10 songs of Beyonce, one after the other.
there's different songs, obviously.
Different songs, they weren't the same, but like they don't put the whole album on, and who does that? And they don't have no breaks.
Exactly. Like, because I understand if it was on your phone shuffling or whatever the case, but on radio, like, radios don't even understand twin flames. So that was one instance of telepathy. I can't. hear him speak, like, people talk about telepathy in that sense. I can't really hear the messaging like that. So I mainly trust music and dreams and all that. And yeah. Yeah, and the number stuff that also. So we met 27 November. Not we met, we connected as twin flames on the 27th of November. So I see the number all the time, 1127, quite often. Yeah. And his birthday as well.
Annie's birthday. There you go. What about any 5D sort of experiences? I call it the ghost, but it's their higher self. Some of the I see my kids as well, and that they come as ghosts and they walk around the house.
I had that once. Yes, I had that once. It wasn't really I don't know if it's a ghost. It might be a ghost. But
Bit,
I was
bit.
in the queue, right? To yeah, trying to withdraw some money. And there was this man walking up to the lady behind me, and he had a daughter. And when I say I saw my twin flame with my future daughter, literally, I thought it was there, and I like freaked out, and I looked away. And when I looked back, it was the guy that was trying to walk from behind. So that was the only instance that I remember, or actually that I can actually attest to. Um, but I have
It's
had dreams
interesting,
about.
right? Because we
Yeah,
go for it first and they go for it later, but they do get a little bit of signs, but they're in their ego. But later, once we've fully like grounded, because I told my twin in the beginning, I was like, I keep seeing your name everywhere, and you're Italian, and this is England, and they don't have that here. I don't know what's weird, and they don't get it. They don't get it until they get it. Then they
yeah,
get it.
yep, exactly. Um, it's so weird. Like, yeah, that's why I think I love your videos as well, is because I think last year I'm better now, but last year was quite terrible as well, as far as trying to cut out the fear part and all that. And so just having a community of people to talk to about this is quite nice to share. So
So the wounds and the triggers that came up. So you said it was the father stuff, the abandonment stuff. Was there anything
yes.
else, and how did you work on them?
Um so I would say, because I feel like men are pretty connected. So the father wound, for me, the masculine kind of tied into the money wound as well, which I am working through now, because I think we kind of think of everything in silos. So I thought,
It's interconnected, isn't it? And money is to do with self-worth, like how much you love yourself and feel worthy of like the
exactly.
abundance and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So to me, that's been my biggest thing is self-worthiness and just cutting out, yeah, toxic patterns. Like I realized for a long time because of my dad, um I would take care of people who mistreated me, and um and not in the same way as I did with my dad, but it happens also in other relationships,
Basically,
friendships,
you
colleagues.
accept that behavior because you were taught you accepted it as a kid, basically, because you had to.
Yes, yes, because you had to. And so now that's what I'm more conscious of thinking all the time is, did you mistreat me? What did you do? And now am I rewarding that bad behavior? Or by actually talking to you, still continuing a relationship with you, or not even having a discussion about it before we can move on, and just ignoring it, because that's what I did with my father. Just ignored it and then kind of came up later
Do
on.
you have like boundaries now with people?
Yes, 100%. Much more. And I think my twin flame definitely taught me that because, like I said in the beginning, when I was going through it, he didn't want to meet up, but I would still try to persist and, pursue him and be like, no, let's talk, let's talk. And then I'll give him 2 weeks, thinking, okay, 2 weeks later, maybe he'd change his mind, and he didn't change his mind. And then
They're
at the end,
stubborn. They're so stubborn, and they're so able to like run away from their feelings. It's crazy.
it isn't, because I was like, how are you able to run from this? It was insane. It was so insane. And I think even my motives, like I never wanted to seduce him or try to come up rocking sexy outfit or whatever. I just really wanted to talk and, try to clear
You
because
know
like
the tables turn. Once you let go, they completely start chasing you around and get crazy.
yeah. I've definitely let it go. So it's been about 2 years since I've seen him. Actually, to this week, yeah, last week, it past 2 years. Which is interesting. And yeah, he's engaged. So I was saying he had said before that he was going to get engaged. So I was like, let's try to figure it out before you get engaged, so that when you get engaged, you can run off into the sunset with your wife. And that didn't happen now, did it? But it's cool. Like I'm good now, as far as him and the fear and chasing. I don't do that as much anymore. It does creep up once in a while where I'd want to know what's going on. Is he married already or whatever? But it's not the biggest thing in my day anymore.
You said that you're good now and your external life obviously is improving. But did you do any
Yes.
specific like healing inner works, meditation? Did you do anything or prayer or anything? Did you do
You
to help?
know, it's so funny because in the beginning I was trying everything. Like I said, I was Googling and then I ended up on YouTube. So I was trying everything and nothing worked. I remember there was a point where there was like a candle ritual where someone said, write stuff down about the partner that you want and how you want it. And I was like, okay, I'll write my twin flame's name down and da 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 da. And then you keep it on throughout the night and all that. And I was sleeping, but I was scared to death that I was gonna burn the house down with this candle. So I
But
kept
we become
waking up
so
every hour.
desperate and so stupid, don't we, in the beginning?
I
Oh,
was so desperate. I was like anything, like literally. That didn't work. So after yeah, a few weeks of just trying everything, I just realized nothing really works. For me, I think the biggest thing is the triggers. So those are the things and you can't anticipate them. You can't like this, that thing. They just happen. When they happen, you just have to release and then move on and go to the next step or phase. Yeah.
so for you, like surrendering, going with the flow was the biggest thing you did.
Yes, definitely, definitely. Um, yeah, so for the most part, I would surrender. Not I wouldn't surrender because I would just talk to my friends and I'd just complain the whole time. But it was therapeutic in a sense. I, dumped my therapist as well because she didn't get it. So I was like, "Ah, at least I don't have to pay
Yeah.
my friends and they'll listen."
My friends think you're crazy too at times, depending if who it is, but usually the ones who are not twin flames, they'll just think you're obsessed with someone who doesn't care about you and you should move on or go into an asylum.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
I had,
yeah,
sorry.
carry on. Carry on.
No, I had, obviously, like there's a core group of friends I had a side that just didn't believe it. And if you didn't believe it, I just stopped talking about that situation with you. And then I just talked with the people that I feel like, and they don't understand, but they get a view and they're more empathetic. They know, because like I said, I, I was a girl that was always focused on my studies, on my work, on my career, and building that up. So I never really obsessed with boys and so when this happened, it's very pivotal for me and I think my friends knew that and then they gave me space because of that.
Yeah, they're probably thinking this is not normal, so it's unusual.
Yeah,
So,
I was laughing with one of my friends because I was like, I almost ended up in a psych ward and she was like, girl, I was scared. I was so scared. Yeah. Anyway.
horrific. It's horrific. So mystical and spiritual aspects. You talked about some of the stuff with the your intuition or whatever got and the things you saw.
Yep.
But was there anything strange and weird, spirit guides, ancestors, higher realms? Were there any sort of like gifts that you unlocked or all sorts of weird stuff happens?
Yeah. I think for me, yeah, it definitely sorry, it definitely activated the dream space. Yeah, so I can't. Yeah, I don't have that tap into my intuition, and then I know exactly what to happen. I usually fall into my dreams, and that's when I can trust them. to the point where one of my girlfriends now
You have
is about
less
to,
resistance in the dream world, so it's easier.
yes, I think so. And I'm better like because I'm so logical and just finance kind of girl, it's very hard for me to
Accept that.
accept things, yeah, for what they are until it then connects. It has to show a pattern first for me to realize it, kind of thing.
So your girlfriend, something about your
Yeah.
girlfriend you're gonna say.
Sorry, yes. So she's getting married, and about like a year ago, she wasn't even dating anyone, and I dreamt of her getting married. And you were like, where's this coming from? Because she wasn't even dating anyone. And now, fast forward, I was telling her. So now I think my dreams are more connected in that, and I'm able to give messaging about the future and the way and like that way.
So
Sorry.
interesting. Okay. So how do you see yourself and your divine masculine now? Do you feel like are you surrendered to that, or do you feel like there's gonna be union? Do you feel like you're gonna have a mission together?
Yeah, so I feel all of that, all of the above. I do feel like we have a mission. I'm not sure what it is. Um, he's aligned more with what I do. So, like I said, I'm an accountant, he's an actuary. So we're in the numbers analytical space. So I see us kind of transforming that world.
Which is necessary, with all the corruption in the world and all sorts.
Yes, most definitely. And I definitely do see us in union. I don't know how it's going to happen. I
I
really
love
don't.
hearing that. I love hearing that because I speak to someone they're like, I don't see it happening, which is fine because you may never see it happening and God's going to do what God's going to do. But
Yeah.
sometimes you
And
just,
sorry. And like, because when I remember the day that we actually connected, it really wasn't supposed to happen. There was so many things that could have went wrong when I think about it. There was a friend who was supposed to sleep over that day, and had she slept over, we wouldn't have kissed because she's a night owl. She like is the last person to sleep, and things like even the place that I slept over for it to be 5 minutes away from where he lived, because had it been further out, he wouldn't have come. So there's things, those small little details I realized like this was beyond anyone's control. So I believe that our union will also be the same. But I think I'm trying to envision or figure out how we're going to navigate people because like I said, he's engaged and in African cultures, when you're engaged, families are intertwined and all that. Um, so that's going to be very tough, I think, trying to then get out of that. And, well, there's a new girl. like, um,
it's
so
all
that,
divinely orchestrated, isn't it? It's like, so it will just happen as it needs to.
yes, yes, yes. And we'll deal with it later. But I'm excited. I'm excited for the future and just working on me. And yeah, that's it.
And so what has this journey taught you about your divine feminine energy and your power, basically?
Yeah. Appreciation. That's what I realized like now this week. I have to be more appreciative and that's how things flow to me is when I'm appreciative of stuff instead of working harder because like you know the rat race of just corporate life and all that you're always doing more to try to impress and try to move up in the hierarchy and whatever the case may be. um And I was trying to do the same thing now with having quit my job and trading and stuff. And I realized that it's not working, it's not the same thing. And I have to come in with it, come at it differently. And that's what I'm doing is trying to be more appreciative of the day of my twin flame because I'm actually so appreciative of him because he changed my life. Like he literally changed
Have you
single
seen
handedly.
him change? Have you seen him evolve?
Um, I have not spoken to him, so I have seen he has changed. Through people, I do believe he has changed. Um, but we haven't spoken face to face to the point where I feel like, okay. Granted, as well, I will say, even throughout university, he was one of the friends that I least knew because he did a different course than the rest of us. So all it was very also quite weird because all my other guy friends, we all kind of did the same course, and so I didn't know him as much. Yeah, so
And then what about Kundalini, all that energy, that sexual energy? I call it life force energy, but
yeah.
like, did you experience those things? The pull? Some DFs feel a lot of that from their masculines. They feel a lot of energy, sexual energy. Um, did you have any of those things going on?
See, I can't even no. I really didn't. I don't. Um, yeah, I can't say
I've had
that
it
I.
only once or twice, but normally in the dreams I've had it once or twice. But I think my twin was so sexual in daily life, he didn't need to go into.
I remember you saying on TikTok that is very, yeah, sexual.
Oh, it was great.
Um,
Thank God it stopped. Right. So, what about sacred sexual energy between twin flames? How intimacy is that? Do you feel like it's different to how it is? It's more divine compared to like regular relationships? Like, what's your take on that?
so I have not been intimate with him, so I wouldn't know. We just kissed that one time. That yeah, the two times. So we kissed the night, then the next day. That was about it. And when I last saw him in May 2023, yes, it was May 2023, it was at a club. So there was sexual energy. Oh, it's another long story. There was sexual energy, but for me, more so than anything, I really just felt at home. Like he was playing, there was a point where he was playing pool at the club, and I was just looking at him. I'm like, oh my God, I can actually watch you play pool for the rest of my life. That's fine. I don't
And you
need
also
to.
feel quite safe with them, no?
Yes. So that's really my thing is yeah, that was the biggest thing is safety and security and just feeling a sense of homeliness with it. Yeah, with him.
You feel very innocent. Or when you do get intimate, you feel like a virgin. But
Oh,
it
yeah.
is just, it's pure, it's divine, it's innocent, it's stripped away from all that
Yeah.
ego stuff, you know? But
Yeah. It
what
translates. It
advice?
makes sense to me because of the kiss and how that kiss felt. So I know that, the sex will probably
Did it, but
align more to that.
did the kiss feel very innocent and pure, or
It felt like it was meant to be. Yes. It felt like this is where I'm meant to be at the moment. As much as my blood was rushing, like I said, I didn't want to stop because I was like, oh, this just
did you
feels
feel
so.
shy? Were you feeling shy when he kissed you?
After we stopped, I did. I did feel shy because I was like, oh, shoot. And then he was like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm good. And then he just looked at me and then he kissed me again. He just like, grabbed my cheeks and then he kissed me again.
I mean, they're
Um,
very bold, very bold. In the
very
beginning, they're
like
bold, and then they're cowards.
exactly like I was like, that's exactly what happened because he's shown remorse, right? So because like I said, we are part of a bigger friend group. And so my one other friend who is gay, he spoke to me about him and he said that because everyone knows now in the circle that we kissed. I don't know how if he knows that everyone knows. So he said that he was remorseful and that he takes full responsibility because he really was the one who came to me and kissed me. No one
They
else.
initiated it. Yeah,
Yeah.
they always do. Okay, so I know because my mom was the same. I wanted him out of the house, and he just went for it. Anyway, so what advice would you like to give to those watching, especially the divine feminines for now, and then we could talk about the masculines. But what do you want to say to the feminines and the masculines?
Hmm. I think my
Oh, we seem to have lost audio for a second. Are you there? Hello.
so sorry, Manny. Can you hear me?
That's okay. So what advice would you like to give to the feminines and then the masculines?
I'm trying to put you on speaker. I was fiddling around. Hello.
I can hear you. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sorry. I was fiddling around with my AirPods and then okay, sorry. Um, so my biggest takeaway from where I am now is um allowing things to happen. Yeah, like it sounds so cliche, but that's where I'm at with it and noticing the patterns. You know, there'll be patterns, there'll be signs, there'll be synchronicities. And obviously there'll be the ones, oh, he's your DM, he's your GM, he's your twin flame, but also recognize the patterns of fear, and just the the things that you need to change, because those have to change before you get into union. And that's what I've been realizing is how, as much as I'm trying to kind of get myself out of the matrix, I still have to deal with the matrix quite a lot. And slowly
Yeah,
but surely
trust,
getting
isn't
out of
it?
it.
Trust, is that trusting?
Yes, it's very tough to get out of because obviously it's all we know and that's all we, have been taught all this long. So it's gonna take some time to get out of it. But give yourself time, give yourself grace. You know, the beginning, I remember I was watching tarot readings like crazy. Ooh, for the first 6 months.
And you
Oh,
know what? Some of these twin flame coaches don't help with the obsession because I see some of them just getting the cards out, and I'm like, I can do tarot. You've
yeah.
never seen me do tarot. I
No.
won't do it, and I don't do it with I just don't do it.
Yes, and I think tarot is great money. Like when I see it on TikTok, they'll be hitting 60,000 likes, and so you would be quite like profitable with tarot, So it speaks to how how authentic and
But how
just
does
not
it
need
help? How does it
spirit.
help the twin flame? Like, how does it help the divine feminine who's already in that obsessive craziness? I mean, it can help a little bit if it's one to one and you do it privately and you psychically you get a reading. But when you're doing it for everyone, I
Like
just don't think.
no, it's not gonna work. It's definitely not gonna work. And there were points like on YouTube. This was before I was on TikTok, so I mainly watched my tarot on YouTube. And there were things that would click. But then again, there's a point, you know how crutches work. There's a point where you don't need the stuff. Like you learn how to walk again, you learn how to not use a crutch. And it's gonna take some time. Like maybe one day you feel like, oh, I need this crutch. And then after the next 2 days, you're walking and then all of a sudden you don't need it. So, yeah, give yourself time and grace all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I used to watch those tarots and they're like, he's coming back, he's coming back. And I was like excited, like, when's he never bloody come back?
He never gets back. For me, there would always be like little hints. There was stuff because there was this one. Oh, I don't want to mention his name, but he would like. I felt like he was talking to me, and then I'm like, "There's no, yeah, it's not coming back. So what's the point?" Right? So
It's all part of the healing process. It's all part of the journey, isn't it? I guess.
yes, that's what I also believe. I really do believe that because I
Mm.
needed them when I needed. There was a point where I would go to bed, man, sleeping, listening to tarot.
It gives you that reassurance, right? But then eventually you're gonna have to bring that reassurance with yourself and trust inside
Yep.
and not outside. So, last question. What is the misconception about twin flames that you want to like clear today?
Misconception. I don't know if it's yeah, I don't know. Maybe it is a misconception, but it is if it's like desirable, like it's really not desirable at all. Um, because people, they want to be on this journey. I'm like, I don't think you want to. I wouldn't wish this on my. There was a point on Instagram. I was telling my close friends, I was like, I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. I swear. But I'm not really a person that like likes to dispel misconceptions because the real people who know, like you just know. And so for the people who don't, why
It's
are you
like
even bothered?
it's kind of crazy that because I've seen it and people come to me, I want to manifest my twin flame. I want to manifest, and I'm like, it's not, it don't work like that. And then you have like on Tinder adverts about find your twin flame. And then you've got all these companies that are making millions and millions that are like, get your twin flame, get on
Yeah.
that rainbow horse or whatever, and fly to the land of heaven or whatever it is. I'm like, you lot are all twats because
Yeah.
you're pushing people to spiritual psychosis. You're pushing people to face their demons. If they in fact do meet their twin flame, it's going to happen, but it's not rosy, and you got to be very equipped. Some people kill themselves.
Exactly. I had a moment where I wouldn't say I was suicidal, but maybe it is because I've never been like a suicidal. I never had, yeah,
Tendency.
yeah. But there it was the time I was like, I can't see. It was around June, and I couldn't see my birthday because usually in June my birthday's in December. I'm starting to plan my birthday and trying to figure out, and I just couldn't see it because my emotions were suppressed and I was depressed. I'm like, who wants this? I will give it to you gladly if you want it, but I don't think this is nice. So, um, yeah, no, it is
It
what it is.
pushes you. It pushes you to hell. To face your own hell. To face your own demons. That's what twin flame is. Face every single part of you that you have been hiding from, running from, scared of, whatever it is. It forces you to face all that, to
Yep.
integrate it, love it, let it go, etc., and go back to your pureness. You know,
Yes.
it's
Amen.
it's
Yes.
everything. It's not just about romance, and that's just
Yeah.
that's just the carrot. That's just the thing the universe uses to pull you along the ascension journey. It's like, oh yeah, look, romance, da, 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 and then death, death,
Mm.
death, death.
That's
Wow.
the thing. I think that's what I also heard was I don't know if this statistic is correct, but I heard 90% of twin flames don't know that they're about to get into twin flames, and I genuinely didn't know. Yo, I didn't know. I,
Yeah,
and I think
yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
because
You stumble upon it.
yes, and I think it's because of the hell that you kind of go through. If you knew, you probably would try to run away or escape it as soon as possible. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I made a post or video or whatever, and I talked about wannabe twin flames, and people are like, oh, it's offensive. But
Mm.
I don't know. I'll say it as it is. But anyway.
Yes, please continue doing that on the TikTok streets. I know they're rough, but continue doing that.
It's been a pleasure because to actually get to that stage, and I think a lot of divine feminines are getting to the stage now is enough's enough, and we're just gonna say it. This is it. I got to a stage recently where I was like, there is no self-respect left, there's no shame left. The DM certainly doesn't have it, and I certainly don't. So what are we all like trying to conform to society's expectations? Just be yourself.
Yes, yes, yes. Amen. And I'm there as well. I'm getting there. I think the worst is behind a lot of us, I believe for me personally is that most or a lot of the healing is way past and it's time to live and not survive and thrive. Yeah.
Right? Well, thank you so much, Monica. Not Monica, that was my previous person. Thank you so much, my beautiful anonymous person from South Africa, sorry.
That was-
Think of
Yes.
you.
Thank you, Manny. Thank you so much.
Take care.